these crazy ideas that they want to implement. But the truth of the matter is that both the right and the left, and I'm not talking about you personally, I'm talking about the whole general populace who believes in the consensus. The right and the left are fueling, both the left wing and the right wing, are flapping their wings, and they're causing fascism to fly right.
They seem to complement one another, the Democrats and Republicans, and kind of prop each other up every 4 years by never really attacking the real deep-seated corruption that we look at that the other party was engaged in, just focused on surface-level issues that really doesn't go anywhere except back and forth like a pendulum swinging.
Well, conservatism, I mean, being a conservative is a bad word in a lot of areas because of what conservatism has turned into. Real conservatism has always been America's backbone. It's always been where we've been. And there are honest conservatives out there. I think Lars is an honest conservative. I think that there are a lot of people out there that believe in the Constitution. I mean, believing in the Constitution and keeping it sound is a conservative idea. Don't kid yourself. I mean, you could be a libertarian all you want. You can be whatever, but fighting for constitutional belief systems, gun ownership, you know, freedom of speech, all those things are conservative views. What we're looking at, though, is we're looking at the perversion of conservatism, the perversion of liberalism to the standpoint of black and white, and the idea that there's Straussian conservatism, there's neoconism, there's all these things
there's different flavors.
Sure,
it's still
different
the same
flavors.
cola.
Yeah, I don't know about
times.
that, because I can tell you from my leanings, I try to be as neutral as possible, but I come from a conservative background. And I don't consider myself a conservative at all, but what I do consider myself is a moderate who sees things on both sides, and I don't want to jump on board with conservatives, especially ones like Ann Coulter and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly, who are nothing more than propped up to get a rise out of people, and anyone who sides with them, you know, they're just basically contributing to the polarization and hate of this country.
Well, Clyde, one point I want to make about conservatism and real constitutionalists is a lot of people are trying to get involved and trying to do something positive for their country. If they saw what Bush did to our country over the last 8 years. And the situation that we're seeing now in states like Texas is Rick Perry attempt to align himself with the Tea Party, and Glenn Beck tried to align himself with the Tea Party. As you're aware of, these things are going on, but in reality they're also attacking third-party candidates, libertarians, constitutionalists when they get too successful, like candidate for governor of Texas, Deborah Medina, and she has a lot of support down in Texas.
Well, what this is
and
also...
so Glenn Beck gets on, brings her on, and ambushes her and asks her questions that he hopes are going to make her look bad, so his fake conservative neocon buddy, Rick Perry, can be the governor.
But what it is it's COINTELPRO. It's another example, and in fact, I was just looking at this today. It's another example of COINTELPRO. You create this doublethink. You create this illusion that you're behind certain things. I've seen Glenn Beck before. You know, COINTELPRO now is blatant, and it's being used on the nightly news. It's like you lure people in to think that you're on this one side, then you just ambush them later on. You change your mind or you do something, and you basically discredit them and fortify you. And I'm seeing this not only with people like Glenn Beck, and I'm seeing it with several other people. I'm seeing it...
People don't see it, Clyde. It's almost as if, I want to say it, I don't know whether I should, like, if you're going to follow this guy, you deserve it. You deserve whatever you have coming to you. But I understand some people don't know any better. They're easy to mislead, Clyde.
Well,
they're easy to direct.
Everybody wants a leader who's going to have a solution. But, you know, you're not going to change the world. But what you are going to do is you're going to make inroads to inform the world and to at least, I guess, settle with yourself your attitudes and your belief systems. You know, you want to go to bed with a good conscience. You want to go to bed feeling good. You want to go to bed knowing that you're loving and you're doing your best. And there are people out there that with the right intentions want to do their best. And whether they're conservative or liberal doesn't matter. They think they're doing something. But you need to remember, though, you can't side with a group of people that are doing things that are going to harm and polarize others. And if you're living on that polarized, it's not about, we're not a football team here. Okay, this is not a football team. It's not the Reds against the Blues. Okay, it's like when you go to Las Vegas, the house always wins. Okay, if you beat the house in one instance and you walk away with your $1 million, that's like a 1 in a million shot. Well, here in America, the house always wins. The government is basically there, and unless you control it, it can control you. It's either the dog wagging the tail or the tail wagging the dog. And I don't think anyone, I think a lot of Americans feel that we're too big to fail, A lot of Americans feel that the checks and balances are Republican and Democrat, which isn't true. I think a lot of Americans believe that the red state and the blue state is going to be the thing that's going to save you. Going to your political parties and voting is going to basically change things, which is not going to happen, because there are people who are in think tanks and who are groups and secret organizations and shadow governments that basically guarantee the continuity of government, whatever government it may be, even if it's not for the people and by the people. It's a form of government that will retain power. And, you know, it can be socialist, it can be Nazi, it can be communist. Whatever form of government it is, it's there.
You're referencing think tanks like RAND that talked about starting World War III to boost the economy. They also had a recent report that was flagged recently about federalizing local police, and we're seeing this literally across the board. By the way, that's a quick pic of me and Clyde at
KUFO.
101 KUFO. You know, you've got a lot of support down there from guys that are currently working the station. I've gotten some emails.
Oh, I think it's because of the fact I think that I've been gone a long time. I think a lot of people don't even know that I exist. I mean, it used to be, oh, I know who Clyde Lewis is.
You are new to a lot of guys, and that's...
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I know who Clyde Lewis is now, they've never heard of him. And it's because I've been gone for a while. But I'm still there, and I'm still talking about these things, and I'm still pushing no agenda, but I'm pushing the idea of information. I'm pushing the idea that, you know, you can put your faith in people all you want, but people are frail and they're human. I mean, even me. I mean, I could give you information that could be wrong, and I can turn around and apologize for that information I gave you. I can go off half-cocked and anything, but see, I'm trying to give you an honest observation.
I want to add something to that. You know, ditch at KUFO.com to support Ground Zero, and that you appreciate that it's actually on the radio. I do want to, me and Clyde actually agree on most things. There might be a few things that we don't agree on. It doesn't matter. There might be a few things that you don't agree with when it comes to me or Clyde. It doesn't matter. You agree with most of the stuff that we're talking about, and you know that we stand with you. Now we're asking for your help. We want you to let your voice be your weapon of choice, and that quote I took from Clyde Lewis a number of years ago, because it pretty much says, you know, we're not going to use our fists and ammunition and guns as weapons. Ideas that can transform the world, that can help take us to a higher level of consciousness and awareness. That's what this is about. Now we've got one of our boys. We've got one of our guys on one of the largest FM stations during the quiet before the storm. Can you hear it? You can hear a pin drop.
And it's kind of crazy that I can hear it, and I feel it. And it's like you take a look at all the executive orders that Obama had basically enacted while you were being distracted. That's an interesting thing. I just ought to be a rapper. Obama enacted while you were distracted.
You're a real wordsmith, Clyde.
Something like that. Anyway, I just want to tell you, though, that it's something that you need to be paying attention to. You need to pay attention to these executive orders. You need to pay attention to what's being said. There are so many things that are distracting you from the reality. Obama, I'm not here to declare that Obama is a horrible president. Obama is a president that was elected by the people. And as a people, we need to direct him in the course that we need. And he'll listen. Don't know if he'll act, but he'll listen. But there are agendas that are being pumped to him from people behind him. I'm looking at people like Zbigniew Brzezinski. I'm looking at people like Henry Kissinger. These men, you know, they are political giants, and they know how to push the pieces of the chessboard. And you can read their books and know what their agendas are. And sometimes, as a president, you have no choice but to do as they say, because they tell you either do this or you're going to face some sort of consequence.
Right. You could think Obama is great all you want, and this, that, and the other, but these people are also known to be war criminals. Henry Kissinger and Zbigniew Brzezinski and some of those around them. I hope you do the research and Google their names if you've never even heard of their names before. They were war criminals then. I don't think anything has changed. Now, we're kind of getting to the national issue story.
Right.
I want to go back to the shooting to make one point.
Aaron Campbell shooting?
That I hope the Aaron Campbell shooting, that I hope some of the women in the audience basically hear what I'm about to say. And it's not an attack or whatnot. Sometimes you do have to call the police if you're in a dangerous situation. I understand that. The point I'd like to make is we do live in a society where something goes wrong, there's an argument, and all of a sudden someone's calling 911. And these guys come with big guns. You know, they're walking around now with AR-15s, and they will shoot if they are afraid or state, in court, for example, if they feared for their life. That is literally a license to kill. To state as a police officer that you couldn't see their hands, that they weren't listening to you when you ordered them to stop. You know, at what point do we realize we're in a police state where we're conditioned to stop whenever a police officer says stop or I'll shoot? And it gets to a point where you've got to realize that you're putting your husband or your boyfriend's life in jeopardy if your life is not in jeopardy and you call the police. So if